everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. Today I'm going to be talking about the 3 different fan fictions I've written and giving you a blurb on each of them. I probably should be in a different setup than here because it's like a writing video and I like to vary it a bit, but it's also based on books that I have read. If you don't know what fan fiction is, it is fiction that is written by fans of a book series, so they will write about 2 characters that they want to be together, that they ship together, and will write their own version of it or an ending that they were unhappy with. That is generally what I've done, which actually reminds me, I've written 4 fan fictions that I can clearly remember. When you're watching this video, there will be spoilers for Harry Potter, Twilight, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman TV show, and the Earth's Children series, the 6th book. The basic one that I didn't actually remember to talk about until I started talking about 2 different characters being together is actually a New Moon alternate ending fanfiction by Stephanie Meyer. You can see the books there. I wrote that after I read New Moon, obviously, because I love Jacob and I wanted Bella to end up with him, so I did a different ending picking straight up from the end of the phone scene. Jacob picks up the phone. I'm a bit hazy on this, but Jacob picks up the phone and it's Edward, and Jacob doesn't think to give the phone call to Bella and she gets really mad and they don't end up together. My alternate ending was that even though she sees Edward, she realizes that even though she talks to Edward, she realizes that she's in love with Jacob and she doesn't want Edward anymore, and that's how it goes. They actually get to kiss and all that kind of thing. So that's a very basic one that I hadn't really prepared to talk about. Doing this in kind of chronological order now is I wrote a fanfiction between Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter series and a made-up character called Maggie, I think is what her name was, and she was in Ravenclaw. So the backstory to that is that Maggie is the friend that Draco never really talked about. He never really advertised because she ended up being in Ravenclaw and he couldn't associate with someone in Ravenclaw. But her dad was a Death Eater. I think it was, I don't know if it was Yaxley or Augustus or something like that, but her dad was a Death Eater and her and Draco used to hang out when they were younger. She knew him before he got involved in all the big bad evil stuff and before he was a bully, or I suppose he probably would have been a bully from, you know, the onset of his father teaching him how to be a person, but he wasn't a bully to her, and they actually had this really great friendship. They go to Hogwarts, he gets sorted into Slytherin and she gets sorted into Ravenclaw, and she is like, her dad is ashamed because he's a Death Eater and she's not in Slytherin, and Draco is ashamed to be with her. And it was supposed to be one full book for like their whole Hogwarts experience. Like, it wasn't a book per thing because I didn't have enough material for that, but the bit that I really clearly remember is her and Draco dancing together at the Yule Ball, and there's this scene like before, like they don't go to the Yule Ball together, but like they're getting feelings for each other even though Draco like wants to ignore them because he's supposed to be bad and with someone who's also bad. And there's this conversation where Maggie talks to Hermione and they end up, as I'm saying this, I don't think it was Maggie, but I'm just going to call her Maggie because I can't think what the heck her name was. But she like talks to Hermione after Hermione has that argument with like Ron, and Hermione, even though Draco's an asshole, is like, well, why don't you just go for it then? And then they go and dance and it's nice, but they don't get together. But I think I don't know if I'd written it, but I'd done like an outline for it for like the whole of Hogwarts, and they get together or something happens in secret in like the 5th or the 6th book, and then she ends up being the woman that he marries, even though I don't know, I'm sure that woman has a name, and I don't think I did enough research to have matched it up, but that was that fanfiction. The second one that I wrote is actually a continuation of the Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman TV series. So I feel like that show was canned before its time, and when I did some research behind it, it was because the ratings weren't as high and they wanted to replace something with guns and action and violence, and I was really mad because they slapped a lot of happy endings into the last episode or the last couple of episodes, and I was happy about that because it was things that I wanted to happen, but I felt like they had more material and so I wanted to write a story. But I also feel like they missed a lot of stuff that could have happened, particularly Dr. Mike's eldest son Matthew Cooper, who didn't get a romantic end, a happy romantic end, and I know that doesn't happen for everybody, but I still wanted to see it because he was someone who really wanted to settle down, get married and have kids. He wanted to start his life. He was going to with his beautiful Ingrid, and then she passed away, and then he was going to with Emma, but then she wanted to move away and do other things that weren't just settling down and having kids, and so he never ends up with anyone. And that was the basis for the majority of my fanfic. That one is on Wattpad. I haven't revisited it, and it's not like, the writing is fine because I have like fine writing, but I didn't plan it, and so like there's a lot of earlier scenes with Matthew's love interest that are kind of like similar or drawn out weirdly. Like it's not super great, but I also wanted to do other things with other characters, like Grace being pregnant and being afraid because she wasn't able to get pregnant before, and now she's really scared to lose this baby that she's wanted for so long. And there were lots of other things, lots of other characters that I wanted to do. I'm pretty sure I wanted Horace to be happy, and Hank, I wanted Hank to fall in love with another saloon girl and to have to go through this whole like, I don't know whether I wanted him to be a better person, because at the end of the day Hank is Hank and he employs the saloon girls to be entertainers for his Patreons, but I wanted him to kind of have some kind of like moral conflict, that maybe it ended in a bit of a shade of grey where he, you know, is maybe less of an asshole but is still true to his character. But I wanted him to have like that romantic thing again, because I feel like there was so much that could have been explored and wasn't very much. But I never finished that fanfiction. I haven't finished any of these fanfictions anyways. Like I wrote the bits that I was really desperate to, and then I ran out of steam. And the final fanfiction that I wrote was actually pretty recently, and that was a rewrite of the end of the final book in the Earth's Children series. I actually remember what I called that one. I think the Dr. Mite one was called All the Loose Ends, because I was trying to tidy up the loose ends. Can't remember what I called that one actually. I'll put the text up here because it was something cool, like the Land of the Zelandoni or something like that. Because I was so mad about the ending of that book and how it felt like the characters had changed from who they were, in particular Jondala, and I was so mad, and I felt like they learnt so much about the relationship in the third book, and then in the sixth one they just do a complete 180, that I decided to rewrite the ending, but again ran out of steam and didn't really do much. That one is also on Wattpad, but I never finished that one either. I was just so mad because I wanted the ending to be different, and I wanted them to have real conflict about their marriage, like in their marital life, but not for it to have dissolved completely. Like I wanted them to work it out together, not turn to other people. So that was really, really frustrating. That is all the fan fictions that I have written. None of them I've finished, so I've done 4. What are some fan fictions that you've done? Have you done any writing? Have you dabbled in any of it? Let me know in the comments below, and I will chat to you guys in my next video. Bye!